So we'll start off talking a little bit about Food Safety Modernization Act requirements. So the Food Safety Modernization Act, or FSMA, requires the identification of reasonably foreseeable food safety hazards in your supply chain, including those that might be resulting from what the FDA calls economically motivated adulteration, or what we usually call food fraud. So, to conduct a hazard identification, FDA recommends looking at a variety of data sources. So, these can include data from outbreaks of foodborne illnesses, recalls, information in the scientific literature, and also the experience and historical information gathered by your facility. So, this can be through your supplier relationships, your laboratory testing, and related types of information. So, the Global Food Safety Initiative, or GFSI, certification programs specifically require a food fraud vulnerability assessment be conducted to identify potential vulnerabilities to fraud in your supply chain. So, this is kind of above and beyond the food safety program. GFSI calls out food fraud specifically. So, you can see language from both SQF and I'll show BRC in just a minute on the screen here. So you can see that this language is related to the specific requirements of their programs, and there's similar language in all of the GFSI certification programs. So it's clear that as a food producer, you need to be reviewing a variety of sources of information about biological, chemical, and physical risks, including those resulting from food fraud. A holistic approach to risk assessment involves an interplay between basically baseline risks and vulnerabilities and current or emerging risks and vulnerabilities. So you can conduct a baseline risk assessment and then routinely scan for things that might be emerging risks. And sometimes baseline risks will turn into emerging risks, kind of depending on the situation or if a particular hazard comes up. And sometimes data from emerging risks will need to be incorporated back into your baseline risk assessment and then monitored moving forward. So these are some of the sources of data that can support an evaluation of these risks.